Remember the exact moment I knew Bayo was going to die. It wasn't some big sign from the heavens, no thunder, no strange feeling in my chest. It was the way he held my hand that night, squeezing it just a little too hard, like he was saying goodbye. And the worst part, he knew. Bayo was the kind of man you noticed, tall, lean, with a smile that made you forget your name. He had a way of making people laugh, making them feel like they were the only ones in the world. I met him at the market. I was buying tomatoes, struggling to bargain with the old woman selling them. Bayo was standing beside me, watching amused. You are not very good at this, he said, laughing. I frowned at him. Excuse me. Let me show you. He turned to the old woman and said something in a smooth, confident voice. She laughed, shook her head, and suddenly the price dropped. Just like that. I was impressed, but I didn't want him to know that. Thank you, I said stiffly, grabbing my tomatoes. He grinned. You could at least tell me your name. I should have walked away. I should have ignored him, but I didn't. My name is Ada, and that was the beginning. Bayo was different from the other men in our village. He wasn't just charming, he was kind. He listened when I spoke. He remembered the little things, like how I hated cold water in the mornings or how I loved the smell of rain. We spent our evenings walking by the river, talking about everything and nothing. And before I knew it, I was in love. Real, deep, terrifying love. The kind that makes you feel alive. The kind that makes you forget that love is also dangerous. I should have known something was wrong the day Bayo didn't show up for our evening walk. It was unlike him. He was never late. I waited by the river until the sky turned dark, my heart uneasy. When I finally saw him the next day, he looked different, tired, like he hadn't slept. Where were you? I asked. He just smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Just busy. It was a small lie, a harmless one, but lies are like cracks in the wall. They start small, then they spread. The first person to warn me about Bayo was Mama Ife, the village herbalist. She stopped me one morning as I was fetching water. Stay away from that boy, she said, her voice low. I frowned. Why? She shook her head. He carries something dark. I laughed. Bayo? No, you don't know him. She gave me a long, sad look. Neither do you. I should have listened, but love makes you deaf to the truth. A month later, Bayo disappeared again, this time for 3 days. When he returned, his shirt was torn, his knuckles bruised. I touched his hand. What happened? He pulled away. Nothing, just leave it. The second lie, and that one wasn't small. That night, I found out the truth. The air felt heavy, like the sky was holding its breath. I was walking home when I saw them, Bayo and two men standing in the shadows, talking in hushed voices. Then one of them handed him a bag. Bayo opened it. Money, a lot of it, and something else, a gun. My breath caught in my throat. My legs felt weak. I stepped back, but my foot snapped a twig. The sound cut through the night like a scream. Bayo's height snapped up. Our eyes met, and in that moment, I saw it, the truth. The man I loved wasn't just Bayo. He was someone else, someone I didn't know. I ran. I don't remember how I got home. I don't remember how I breathed. All I remember is the knocking on my door hours later. Soft, careful. I didn't want to open it, but I did. Bayo stood there, his face unreadable. We need to talk, he said. I shook my head. I don't want to hear it. He took a step closer. Ada, please. His voice broke, and against my better judgment, I let him in. Bayo sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the floor. Then finally he spoke. I didn't choose this life, he said, but I can't leave it. I swallowed. Why? They won't let me. He looked up at me and I saw it. Fear. Real deep fear. And suddenly I understood. Bayo wasn't just in trouble. Bayo was trapped. And there was only one way out. That was the last time I saw him alive. The next morning, the village woke up to screams. I ran outside, my heart pounding, and then I saw him, Bayo, lying in the middle of the road. His white shirt soaked in red. His eyes open, empty, gone. Someone covered his body. Women cried. The men shook their heads, and I just stood there frozen because I knew. I knew this was always going to be the ending. Love doesn't save people, not from themselves, not from the choices they've made, not from death. It's been a year since Bayo died. People have moved on. His name is rarely spoken, but I still hear him. At night, when the wind blows, I hear his voice whispering my name, soft, almost sad, like he never meant to leave me, like he's still holding my hand, still saying goodbye. And the worst part, I still love him, even in death.